Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching Fanboy.
A fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
This guy is from one of the most recognizable 90s Saturday morning shows that took it to a whole new level, going beyond Saved by the Bell and High School USA and everything else. From the series California Dreams, J. Anthony Franke, how are you, man?
Pretty good, J. Anthony Frankie, but
Frankie,
I'm doing
I'm
pretty good.
sorry.
No worries.
There wasn't the accent over the E, so that's why I pronounced it as Frank.
You know what? Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, I'm just used to it. But yeah, doing pretty good. It's it's afternoon, 12:01 p.m. here in Australia on Thursday. I think it's Wednesday evening for you.
What took you to Australia? I mean, obviously it's a beautiful country, but like there had to be a catalyst to sit there and go, you know, I'm going to be 19 hours away from LA.
I married an Aussie. So it was either live there or live here. Standard of living here is pretty nice. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So picked up and came out to Australia.
And now you're stuck rooting for the Wallabies every time they lose to the All Blacks.
Yeah, well, if you obviously you know rugby. I'm not really a State of Origin fan or an AFL here. It's a Aussie Football League, or something like that, which is a different kind of football. It's like a mix between soccer and aerial ping pong. It's and altogether different from rugby, as well as the rules are different too. So not really a fan, but not, you know, it doesn't, you know, they're fun to watch regardless. So
it's a casual thing.
I like hockey.
All right, you like hockey. All right, well, you know, hockey season's going to be coming up this fall. So who's your team and how do you get to watch it over in Australia?
Blackhawks and the Capitals. Honestly, I don't get to watch a whole lot. It's just on at different time zones, and actually taping stuff and watching it. I don't have the time. So I just kind of keep up with. I have some friends that are really into it, and we're in a little Facebook group that we talk about it, and I'm filled in that way. So.
Well, the beautiful thing is you got your guitar collection, you still play music, you work from home, and you get to tour with the California Dreams band yet again with the reunion concert coming up in LA. So you get to come back to California for a while.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. That's July 12th and the 14th. Yes. Yeah. It's going to be a show on, I think it's Friday night, and then we're going to do something on Sunday as well. Maybe some other stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we pull out of the hat back, you know. So
did you ever think 30 years later, you know, the show would still be this impactful, that you guys get to do mini tours and reunions for a TV band? Like you guys were like the 90s monkeys in a sense.
Yeah, it's funny, man. People ask all the time, did you think back then? Man, I was 21. I didn't think a lot at all. You know, I was like 21 when I got the job. And yeah, all I knew was like, yeah, I'm on TV. I got this thing. I get this paycheck and I do this thing that's fun to do, and woohoo. Yeah, it never dawned on me that we'd have people that are still, we have like, I call them super fans. They people who just, they love what we did. And they remind us all the time, which is great. And it's different. It's interesting too, because the last reunion we did in New York was very interesting, because we actually got to do a meet and greet with the fans, and the fans that came. And it was a very different relationship that we had with the fans now versus the relationship we had with the fans then. Back then, it was just kind of this crazy, chaotic thing. And now it's kind of a matured relationship. You know, it's like, you know, they came as adults and we were much older, and it was cool. And as I said in, I think it was we did a little interview for People magazine, and I think my heart's full. Like, it's just like, this is good. Like, this is cathartic in so many ways. But yeah, no, it was great. Right. Never thought we'd be doing this. So no, like I said, I didn't think a lot back then.
Right. No, but I mean, just now reflecting on it, like the fact that it still holds such an important place to people's hearts and souls you know, where
Right.
for you it was a TV show and it was a gig. And
Yeah.
now here are people coming up to you and it's like they're almost like Trekkies where it was like, and in season 2, in the 17th episode, and like, you know, this moment happened and really hit me, like that sort of thing.
We have I have people saying, "Hey, remember when this happened?" And I'm like, "No." And then I'll go tell my wife. She's like, "Yeah, that was in season blah blah blah." Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Wait, did you
Yeah, it's
marry a
all,
super fan?
no, she wasn't a super fan, but she definitely knew the show. She knew the show, but no, I wouldn't call her super fan. She's a if Dylan Jake or what's his name Luke Perry had met her before I did, yeah, things might have gone different. So yeah.
Fair enough, you know, and then I saw videos from it and, you know, I found out that Jenny Kwan was the catalyst to get the reunion going. Was it easy to get everybody on board the way Jenny was excited to do so? Because like Aaron seemed excited about it, Brentley was interested in doing it, you know, but like all of a sudden now here's everybody from who didn't work with each other is now all together on stage at one point.
Yeah, no, I think everybody was excited to do it. And I know I was, and like I said, it was my heart was full. You know, it was like we had this big dysfunctional family back then, and but it was, you know, something we all consider family, um, and friends, and then we came together as again as adults, and our relationships are different and better, and we've all grown and matured, and so yeah, no, I think yeah, Jenny was excited to get it done. Everybody was excited to show up and be there. Just giving everybody a hug when you know everybody arrived, you know, one by one, people coming into the hotel and seeing them. That was all great. Yeah, we had a blast, man. It was absolutely awesome. And again, seeing all the fans too that came, and even people who were young, uh, uh, people that brought their kids, their 20-year-old. One woman brought her 20-year-old son or 21-year-old son, and he knew the words to every one of our songs that we did, and he was like, yeah, it's just it's been exciting for all of us. So.
And Diana still looks like she's 22 because I saw the videos. Scott sent me the videos and I was like, how did Diana not age?
Right, Diana. Actually, it's funny. All the women pretty much look like they haven't really aged. So, and then you've got me and Michael with our gray. Brentley growing his hair. Yeah, just Aaron pretty much looks the same. Yeah, it's but yeah, like I said, yeah, the gray. It's there. I mean, this is 30 something years later. Like I'm 52. Right? But so are pretty much they. But you're right. Like Diana, when she walked up, I was like, "You what the what?" Like has not changed. She looks fantastic, and they all look fantastic. So
Yeah. Well, you guys did something right to leave an impact on people. And people thought it was like, oh, it's a kid show with this California beach band and stuff. But there was like one episode where they did the family tree. And I'm going to respect him because he has the title now. Dr. Jones, William Jones is sitting there and
yep,
he had to do the
yep,
whole thing. You know, it was funny. Like Kelly's character was like, half my family's Smith, half my family's Jones. So good luck with that. And then
right,
all of a sudden, because that was a funny bit. And then, you know, the seriousness comes in with William's character of the slave ancestry. And I know that was something that was important to a lot of people. Like, you know, to do a kid's show that was heartfelt is not easy to pull off.
no, and you know, even through the comedy, we did touch on some pretty heavy stuff sometimes. And yeah, I know that episode was pretty dear to William. There were some episodes for me that were pretty crazy as well, that kind of got to me and made it actually, and because I had experienced some of it in real life, made it kind of easier to grasp what I was trying to convey as an actor. You know, but again, we also only had like a week to prepare for each show, so you know, it's like, all right, funny stuff, serious stuff, funny stuff again, serious stuff, and then all right, next show. So yeah, but yeah, I would say that episode for William was definitely pretty near and dear to him.
Yeah. And then like I remember Aaron was telling me we talked just before the first reunion and how the drunk driving episode was something that was really impactful. And
Right.
Aaron and I both share a love of wrestling because he's a wrestling coach, and I used to competitively wrestle. So we had that going in common for our personal lives. But like, to
Yep.
sit there and realize what's going on, that it was art imitating life, but it wasn't just like a message that was a Harley Quinn giant mallet hitting you over the head, trying to go like,
Right.
this is what we're trying to convey. It was more subtle in its delivery.
Very subtle. It was very subtle. It was like, this happened. Learn from it. Which I think was the best way to go about it. Absolutely.
Now,
So
do you have kids of your own?
no, I'm one of the oldest of quite a few. So we have fur babies. We have two dogs. So I like kids. I like them in small doses and sometimes even a little larger dose, but I also like to be able to go, here, take this back. Yeah, that's just me and the wife's pretty much we're on the same page as far as that's concerned. So it's a lot of time and we got a lot of stuff going on. So
Because I was going to ask if you had kids, like what's their reaction to sit there and go, wait, dad was on TV, or like, your nieces and nephews or whatever, like what's their reaction to see that you're going back on these mini tours and coming back to the States?
Some of the nieces and nephews, I've got little brothers and sisters. They're all just used to it. Nieces and nephews, I think some of them are too young to really appreciate I don't want to say gravity because it was a Saturday morning television show, or it wasn't really that massive of a deal. But I think they might be too young to appreciate what we did. Maybe later. I think one of the younger nephews is about to turn 7, I think. So maybe later we'll show him, and if he gets into it, he gets into it. If he does, he might watch it and be like, "This is stupid," and want to go off and watch something else. The wife got him into Power Rangers, and he was into that for a while. So, but yeah, who knows what he'll like. Actually, he's my nephew Connor. He's a big AFL fan, as we were talking about earlier. So that's his thing.
When you first stepped on stage in New York and you got to pick up the guitar and play these songs, that I don't know if you guys played them yourself or there was like a different band that played them and you guys, mimicked what was going on, or you actually played your instruments for those of you that could.
In New York?
Yeah. No. In the show, was the show
Yeah.
mimicked and then you had to learn the songs for New York? Or did you already know the songs because some of you that could play instruments played them on TV as well?
I dabbled in the guitar back then. I played in the Vote of Confidence episode that is me playing and singing. There was a dude that did Jake's singing voice. Sorry, that's work. Hold on. There is a dude that did Jake's singing voice. That's Barry Coughing. He did a great job. But like I said, in the episode of Vote of Confidence, that's me singing and playing Leather and Loose. And then there's a few other times that I do as well. All that stuff is pre-recorded in a studio. Brentley is a musician. Kelly and Jenny definitely singers. William could sing. Yeah, so yeah, everything was pre-recorded, and basically at the time, yes, we would mime most of the stuff. And like I said, I dabbled in the guitar back then. I play a little better now than I did then. For me, guitar is kind of just like a Zen thing. People are like, "Hey, teacher," I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just play. I just play. So yeah. Yeah, it's just a Zen meditative thing. So when New York came around, we didn't really, Brentley, I know, practiced and learned. I have a condition where when I'm exhausted or whatever it is, or totally stressed and exhausted, which from the trip I was, my actual physically, my nerves have trouble making my extremities work, like my hands and my feet. So I may be playing Too Much to Dream on the guitar. If not, then we'll have Brentley do it like he did at the New York one. But I may, depending on how I'm feeling physically. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Do you come in like a few days ahead of time? It's like a 19, well, it depends where you are in Australia, but it's like a 19 to 22-hour flight, depending if you're in Victoria or New South Wales.
Yeah, I'm in Victoria. It'll be about a 15-hour flight to Los Angeles. And that's, I don't know if any of you have ever done a flight that long. It's a long time to be on a plane. It's very, very, your butt hurts after a little while, unless you're in first class, which I'm not going first class because that's just too much money to spend. But yeah, it's a long trip. Yes, I'm going to arrive a few days early to get used to my surroundings and acclimate, hopefully get past the jet lag and the exhaustion, because it is an exhausting trip. No matter for the New York one, it was from Melbourne, I think, to Sydney, to Los Angeles, to New York. So that was a total of like 30 something hours just traveling. This one will be a little easier, hopefully. So just there and back, fingers crossed. But airlines are notorious these days for canceling flights, and who knows?
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. But you know, with everything that's going on, like, what was, you know, the New York show with the slight preparation that you had for it? How does the LA show now look different? Like, all right, we got the first one out of the way. We kind of figured out what the flow is going to look like. Is that going to be easier for this go around, or is
I
it
certainly
going
hope so. Yeah, I certainly hope it will be. It should be easier. But at the same time, I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to be one of those things that we're going to have to wait and see. I know the set list is still being discussed. So yeah, we'll see, and we'll see what's going on, and we'll have some rehearsals, and then hopefully we get it filmed and we can stream it or something. You know, I don't know. I really, I don't have much info on it. I'm kind of far removed. I do have I am included on some meetings here and there, but you know, I've got a 9 to 5 job here, and which I'm, like I said, on lunch break from, and so yeah.
What are you doing to pay the bills these days then?
I work for Blackmagic Design, which basically is a company that designs and manufactures audiovisual equipment for film and television production and stuff like that. Switchers, green screen, hardware, cameras, all that stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're still part of the industry in a sense.
In a sense, yeah. Not the sense that I was, but yeah.
Right, but now you get to wear pajama pants and a dress shirt for all the Zoom calls, and you're good to go.
Right. I actually put on pants before you called, just in case I had to get up, which I did, to shut the door because the dogs were. Anyway, yeah. So.
Yeah, that's the best part about Zoom meetings, is that you can wear pajama pants and like a decent shirt, and you're good to go.
Right. Sit there in my boxers, put on a tie and a shirt. Yep. So.
You know, the reaction to New York was phenomenal. And, you know, people had either brought up VHS tapes or the DVDs or whatever for you to sign. Was there a unique piece of memorabilia that somebody had, or a piece of fan art that they're like, here, I need you to sign this for me? And what was it?
Yeah, I've had all kinds of requests. We had somebody one of our super fans made had one of those Funko Pops made, a custom job of Jake and Tiffany. So there was a Jake one and Tiffany one. She actually sent that to me here to be signed, and then I mailed it back. And that was pretty cool. And then she actually sent me one of my own as well. So I actually have actually, you want to see it?
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
So she had this one made for me, and then she had one made for herself that she that she sent here to Australia for me to sign. Came with a little surfboard, a little background, everything. So yeah, I was pretty awesome. And then also we had at the New York reunion, I took pictures with her name is Miggle. She likes to be referred to as Jake's girl. She brought different shirts to take pictures of me, take pictures with me in. And one shirt was I love Jay, and the other one was I love Jake. So that, you know, yeah, people have some great stuff. So yeah, but yeah, this thing is just fantastic. I love it. Yeah.
You got your own doll, man. So I mean, what tops that?
It's not much. And we actually, that's funny you say that too, because there was a point where they were going to do action figures of us, and somebody has those. And we saw them back in the 90s, and we actually had them in our hands, and I had a little Jake in my hand. And then somebody, you know, whoever was showing us the prototypes or whatever, took them back. And I'm like, I wanted that, but yeah. So there was supposed to be action figures of us, but that never happened. But there is a board game. So I
Listen,
have,
Pac-Man had a board game, Different Strokes had a board game, you guys had a board game.
right, right.
Yeah. What was the board game? You know, it was trying to get you to the whiskey or something? Or, you know, an
Uh,
equivalent of the whiskey?
yeah, it was just like, there's each one of us is a character. It was like, trying to get towards I think the band getting signed or something like that was the ultimate goal. I have it here. It's still in the cellophane. But yeah, you could play as Jake, a little figurine with my face on it, and you could play as whoever else. And yeah, no, it's fun.
Is it interesting to step back into that world? You know, after the first concert in New York, and now we're doing the next one in LA. There is a '90s con, so maybe you guys will be performing at that one of these days. You know, like to do these little pocket concerts instead of like a full blown tour, because everyone has their own life. And I know Brentley's in Nashville now, or at least in that area, and he's got his music career going. Aaron's in Florida, you're in Australia. So like, you know, is it fun to do these little like reunion shows here and there a couple of times a year?
Well, the only one I've done so far is the New York one because I think COVID hit and flights out of Australia were closed in and out of Australia were no more for a bit. So I missed the first one. But yeah, the New York one was fantastic. It was great. So I am really looking forward to the LA one. And that's where it all began, really. So was Los Angeles for all of us. So yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I'm going to see a lot of people, old friends outside of this group of people as well. So that's going to be nice too.
What would be great is if you guys did like a California Dreams behind the music style, you know, VH1 documentary episode.
Oh man, I'm sure somebody has footage of us somewhere that if it were released would be like, oh no, yeah, yeah, nothing bad, just us being stupid, yeah. But yeah, so we had a pretty mellow set actually. I've heard of a lot of crazy things going on in other sets. Ours was pretty drama free for the most part.
No, but like as your characters, and it's like Sylvester had a gambling problem, and like, you know,
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. Yeah.
you know, that sort of thing. I mean, that would be fun, just a little fan thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Jake strung out on heroin and
Let's go with motorcycle crash since it was a since he was a
sure,
motorcycle
yeah.
rider. You know, keep it simpler.
Well, we did have an episode where he did crash his motorcycle,
Right.
And like Fonz lost his cool for 20 minutes, so,
You know, gave up the leather jacket for a varsity sweater.
Yep. Oh, that was, yeah, I think that was my friend, Joseph David Reitman. Yeah. He played, Tommy Keating. Yep. So, hey, Joseph, you're out there. Cheers.
You know, you guys are all in great spirits. You guys are all having fun. You know, like I've talked to three of you so far. So you, Aaron, and Brentley, you guys are great. There's no like horror stories. There's no like, you know, I was a troubled teen actor or anything like that. Like you guys are all well rounded, and I'm so glad to see that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah. I, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, I think I probably was the troubled one. Like I was partying a lot kind of thing. But yeah, I climbed my way out of it and, but that was about the extent of it. I was just, partying a little too much. But other than that, yeah, I think everybody was just pretty mellow and doing their own thing. But I certainly like to, head out after work and go get some drinks and enjoy my life. And yeah, so but yeah, you are correct. It was, I think they're pretty well rounded. I hope I am too. So
Well, that's what happens when you got to wear a leather jacket in 92-degree weather in the valley.
right. Yeah, some days it was hot, but the other thing is the sets were kept freezing cold. So I was always nice and toasty. So
Yeah. But yeah, man, everything seems great. You know, Dr. Jones, Dr. William Jones, he's a PhD in psychology now, and Aaron's a
right.
teacher. You're doing your thing in Florida and Australia. Sorry, you know, with all these design jobs and everything else. Like, it's got to be exciting to sit there and realize the reaction that people had, and then how excited they were for the reunion show in New York, and now to expect something similar in LA.
Right. And you know, I think it's going to be similar to New York, but at the same time, I know it's going to be its own thing as well. It's going to be a totally different thing, but it's still going to be us doing what we did in New York. But it's going to take on a life of its own because of just the location, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm excited.
You know, July's a great time to be out here. The weather's going to be great. You know, you don't have to pack a sweater. I know how cold Victoria gets. You know, so you're going to have to do the transition between winter, summer, and 48 hours.
Yeah, when I moved here and I experienced my first winter in Victoria, I was like, this wasn't on the brochure. You know, people hear Australia and, you know, they think like tropical and desert and, you know, but no, it's we're in a pretty, we're about 1,000 miles, Melbourne is about 1,000 miles from Antarctica. So we get these freezing cold winds coming up north, just straight from where all that ice and snow is. So it gets pretty cold here, but we rarely see snow. So I haven't seen snow since I've been here, and it's 15 years, but it's been very cold.
What was the culture shock to move to Australia like for you, other than obviously driving on the other side of the road?
I would say the first half hour of driving here was terrifying. And then the next few hours was, oh, okay, I'm starting to get this. But yeah, the first half hour was just like, and then, you know, and then you kind of want to like move yourself over to the other lane, and then you realize, oh, if I do that, I'm gonna, you know, somebody's gonna get hurt. So, but I'm used to it now. I can actually go back and forth and drive in either place and be fine. I think probably the biggest culture shock for me was the food. Pizza and burgers are, well, they're starting to become almost the same, but they were just, when I moved here, they were just very different. Pizza was very different here than it is in the States, like say New York or even Los Angeles, but you can get great pizza in Los Angeles as well. And it's not bad here. It's just different. And then burgers, like here, they you know, they're like, do you want a slice of beetroot on your burger? I'm like, what? I'm like, I'll have some beetroot in a salad maybe, or beets in a salad or something like that. But I don't want pickled beetroot on my burger. Like that's the thing. Other than that, you know, you don't get the beetroot on the burger, your burgers can be pretty normal, but they still do burgers a little bit differently here. They just don't taste the same. You know, it's just a little bit different.
I don't even want tomatoes on my burger, let alone beetroot.
I like tomatoes, but I hear you.
No, not on my, like, I like tomatoes, but I want them in my salad, but not on the burger.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I think that like, they don't really have a national dish here, but if they were to have a national dish, it's basically sausage wrapped in pastry. So they call it a sausage roll. It's good. It's good. I think we call it pigs in a blanket.
Right.
But it's hot dogs wrapped in pastry. Yeah, it's just slightly different, but anyway.
Yeah. Now you got to open up, you know, Jay's All-American Grill.
Honestly, I think if I was gonna, I'd probably do that and probably open up a Mexican restaurant as well, because the Mexican food situation here is pretty dire. There's a few good places, but they're usually pretty far away, hard to get to, or, you know, but yeah, we just don't have a really great Mexican food situation in Australia. So
yeah, so that's the first thing you're getting when you get to California.
It usually is. We get there and I'm like, we're headed to Paquito Mas, or we're headed to, you know, or, you know, somewhere where I can get, you know, something good, you know. But yeah, it's usually right off the plane, go get some Mexican.
You know, the fan reaction in New York was fantastic. We got to see videos, we got to see stills. Obviously, it's not like being 21 anymore, where everyone's ripping at your shirts and like, oh my God, it's so great to see you. You know, that whole Beatlemania thing, I think, is the only way to describe it, with, excuse me, the screaming fans. Now it's a little more subdued. It's a lot more respectful in that sense. Is it still enjoyable when you get recognized? And have you been recognized often in Australia?
I think I was recognized like once here. Like they showed us here in Australia, but it never, I don't think it really ever took off. I have fans here, and I think I've only been recognized here once, and it was a person saying, "You look really familiar." No, it's like I don't know why I would. I just moved here. I'm like, oh, and then they were like, no, and they kept kind of pressing. I was like, well, I was on, oh, and they were like, oh my God, you know. But for the most part, like I look different enough. I'm a different beast now, you know. So I was a slightly different beast back then than the beast I am now. So yeah, I don't get recognized much anymore. But yeah, if it did happen, I'd be like, hey, thanks. Yeah, all right. So
You know, how is Calm Jake of 2024 different than you know, the Jake of the TV series in 1994? Like, what would that Jake look like today?
oh, he'd probably look like this. I think he'd probably be in a much bigger space because I think he went off to what he signed a contract and went off to be a musical superstar. So probably be a much bigger space. I'd be doing this recording from an actual recording studio in my house, Jake's house or whatever. Yeah, yeah. He probably you know something better to drink than coffee in my Pink Floyd mug. Yeah, who knows? But yeah. Anyway.
And what about Jay? The difference between Jay the actor of 1992 versus Jake the design, or Jay the designer of 2024.
Well, I do quality assurance engineering for this company, but yeah, I'm just a lot different. Like you know, back then it used to be, yeah, let's go out and party, and now I'm like, you know, I really appreciate just being able to sit at home. So when people are like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. And they say, great, do you want? I'm like, no. Nothing is what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing right now. Nothing. So there is no, do you want to? There's like, I am actually actively doing nothing. And that's what I want to do right now is nothing. So yeah, nothing's a thing.
You're like,
anyway.
You're like, I had dinner at 6:30. Leave me alone.
Right. And I'm going to bed at 9. So whatever.
Listen, there's something to be said about a 9 o'clock bedtime.
There is, especially when you're 52.
Yeah.
No, I'm usually up till almost midnight. But yeah, like, but if I happen to go to bed at 9, I don't mind at all. It's nice. Yeah.
See, I've always been a morning person, so like everyone was always weirded out if I was like, dude, it's 10 o'clock. I got to go to bed. And they're
Right.
like, you're 20. Yeah, still, you know, I got
Right.
things to do tomorrow.
Right. The wife gets mad at me because when I wake up, like I'm not a morning person. I'd rather sleep in, but maybe it's the age, you know, it's like I got to get up and wander around for a while, you know. But the wife gets mad because I get up and I'm chipper, you know. I'm like, hey, all right, what's happening? And she's just like, why are you so happy when you wake up? Because she's not very happy when she wakes up. So I just kind of like avoid her in the mornings. But no, she's great. She's great.
So long as you're not making too much noise.
Right. I try to keep it down and go in the other room. And so
yeah. Man, it sounds like you're having a great time out there and enjoying life, and you know, married life seems to have been good to you.
it has. I've been here pretty much here and married 15, 16 years, 6 years, something like that. Oh, hold on. Got one of the dogs scratching at the door. Come on, Cheryl. Come on. Come on. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah, what's going on? Say hello. Want to say hello? Does everybody want to see puppy butt? Yeah, this is Shirley, or as I call her, Big Cheryl. Let's see. Say hello. Yeah.
She just wants her time in front of the camera.
Yep, she's my sweetheart. She is allergic to grass, which is an insanely weird thing for a dog. So she pulls out her hair near her tail because it bothers her, but like we can't like not let her on the ground, you know. So we do this cream. We put this cream on her, and yeah, and then we've got another Lucy is our other dog. She's a special needs dog as well, and she's got something called mega esophagus, which is where her esophagus just does not pump food down to the stomach. So for 2 hours after every meal, she's twice a day, we have to hold Lucy upright after every meal for 2 hours, just to make sure that all the food goes down to her stomach and doesn't just sit there. But yeah, it's we love them both. They're both worth it. So
well, it's a good thing you work from home.
yes, it is.
Yeah. Does your wife work from home as well?
In a sense, she does a lot of the promotional stuff you'll see for our reunions and stuff like that. That's a lot of that is her work. And then, but for the most part, she's got a full-time job with the dogs and taking care of the house. So I'm pretty much the one with the 9 to 5. So
The key to a happy marriage is both of you work from home, but have separate offices, is what you're saying.
right, pretty much, yes, yes. In fact, yeah. Let me, oh, right. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Jay, before I let you go, because I know you got to clock back into your real job after entertaining me and my nonsensical questions. You know,
Worries.
what's the one thing you want the fans to get out of the experience? Because there's the 2 meet and greets, you know, as we have the dates right over my shoulder over here.
Yep.
You know, what do you want the fans to get out of the meet and greet? Because obviously they're coming to see you guys. You know, the July 12th meet and greet is at 12:30 with the live concert at 7 p.m. And then the July 14th has the VIP brunch at 11:30 a.m. with the live concert at 1:30. You know, what should they expect, and what would you want them to get out of it?
They can expect to see us giving our very best of what it is we can give them, which is to put on a good show. I think it's nostalgic for all of us. At the New York one, everybody was singing along to every song. It was so I just more than anything, I hope everybody, whatever it is they want to get out of it, whatever it is that brought them to see us, that's what I want them to get out of it. You know, everybody's going to have slightly different reasons. They want this or they want that, and whatever they want, I hope we give it to them.
All right. How 90s should we dress for the concert? Should we come in like full 90s gear, or should we come as we are as old people now?
Are you going to be there?
I'm coming to Friday's show.
All right, awesome. We'll see you there. Yeah, man, if you want to come in full,
I won't be hard to miss, dude. I'm bigger than most of the security guards.
Sweet, awesome. Yeah, if something happens and you see anybody coming at me, and you know, just anyway, I'm kidding. Yeah, you can come in as 90s as you want, or not. So whatever you like. I think 90s was what, flannels and jeans, which is pretty much what we do now. I get what, you know. So,
or if you were into the gym life, they were Zubaz and, like, you know, crop tops.
Right, and I'm glad this wasn't the 80s, because then you'd be like having to come in Z Cavaricis and, you know, yeah. So anyway, and fluorescent sunglasses with slits in the, yeah. Anyway, I'm glad it was the 90s.
Those slitted sunglasses were always confusing to me.
They weren't even sunglasses. They were just, yeah, they were just purely for like, hey, look how cool I am. And but you look at them now and you're like, who wore them? Like, why did I get these for my birthday?
And why were they $20 in 1987?
Right.
Which is the equivalent of like 90 today.
Right, exactly.
But Jay, where can we find you on social media if we want to connect with you and let you know how excited we are about the show?
At J. Anthony Franke on both IG and TikTok. So that's at J. Anthony Franke, one word. And then also, if you go on Facebook, it's J. Anthony Franke official fan page. There's also, I think, California Dreams fan page. There's one, I think it's the picture is yellow with the cast. That's the main one. They always post the information as well. So yeah.
Listen, J. Anthony Franke, thank you so much for your time today, man. July 12th, meet and greet, 12:30 p.m. local Pacific time. Live concert at 7 p.m. July 14th, VIP brunch, 11 a.m. Live concert at 1:30 at the Hotel Ziggy in Hollywood, California. Website is californiadreamsband.com. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, RCI, and I appreciate it too, man. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening and a fantastic tomorrow, which is today for me. So,
well, it's 7:30 now, so I'll be in bed in a half an hour.
yeah, exactly.